At the will reading, my parents laughed while handing my sister $6.9 million. Me? They gave me $1 and said, "Go earn your own." My mother smirked. Some kids just don't measure up. But when the lawyer read Grandpa's final letter, my mom started screaming. I never expected to watch my sister Caroline receive everything while I got humiliated with a single dollar. My grandfather Maxwell had been my hero, my only ally in a family that treated me like a disappointment. Caroline was the golden child. Business school, perfect posture, country club connections. I chose environmental science. That won't pay for the lifestyle you're accustomed to, Mom would say with disgust. Grandpa was different. We'd fish at his lake house while my family vacationed in Europe. The world needs people who care about its future more than its stock market, he'd tell me. When he got cancer 2 years ago, my parents suddenly became attentive. Expensive gifts, frequent visits. Their concern matched his net worth exactly. I just brought homemade soup and sat with him. During one of our last visits, he squeezed my hand. Remember, timing is everything. The truth always rises to the surface. At the funeral, Mom networked with his former colleagues. Caroline's makeup stayed flawless through precisely 2 tears. I stood alone by the photo display I'd arranged. The will reading was worse than I imagined. Mom got the Beacon Hill mansion. Caroline got $6.9 million in a trust. Then, to Amanda Grace Riley, I leave $1. The room went silent. Mom laughed. Well, that's clarifying. Always the disappointment. Mr. Langford handed me a thick envelope. Maxwell prepared a video. On screen, Grandpa looked frail but sharp-eyed. He addressed each person warmly. Then his expression changed. There's more to this story. I've arranged tasks that must be completed before the full estate terms are implemented. Amanda, the envelope contains the key to my lake house. Go there immediately. And remember, things aren't always as they appear. Sometimes a single dollar is worth more than millions. Mom's mask cracked. Amanda will naturally accompany. No, I interrupted. Grandpa said I go alone. At the lake house, I found his study unlocked. Inside, a notebook detailing his true holdings, over $24 million. A letter directed me to investigate Riley Innovations. Within hours, I uncovered everything. In the 1990s, Grandpa had founded a tech company with revolutionary patents. My father, handling legal work, advised him a competing patent would make it worthless. He recommended immediate sale. Grandpa sold for a fraction of its value. 6 months later, the buyer made billions using his designs. No competing patent ever emerged. The most damning detail. Mom worked in acquisitions at the buying company. They'd orchestrated the theft together, pocketing nearly $500,000 in hidden fees. Grandpa discovered the truth 5 years ago. That's when he restructured everything. When I confronted my parents at the lake house with the documents, Dad turned pale. Mom recovered quickly. That was ancient history. Business is complicated. Then a courier arrived with Grandpa's final letter. The will reading was a test. Everything has been observed and documented. Mr. Langford will arrive with the true estate plan. Langford played footage from hidden lake house cameras. Mom tearing photos from albums. Dad making calls about developing property before Grandpa was even buried. Maxwell left Amanda control of the true estate, $24 million, plus the intellectual property rights that should have made him a billionaire. But she must decide, pursue criminal charges for the fraud or implement an alternative plan. Mom's scream echoed across the lake. I chose option 2, no criminal charges, but the trust would fund environmental conservation with strict ethical oversight. My parents kept their properties but faced conditions: family counseling, community service with environmental organizations, and honesty. And if we refuse, Dad challenged. Your portion redirects to charity, Langford answered. Caroline surprised everyone. I accept all of it. I'm tired of the lies. 6 months later, the Maxwell Riley Foundation thrives. We funded conservation projects and established scholarships. Caroline volunteers teaching financial literacy to teens. My parents struggled, but Dad eventually called about the watershed project. It's actually interesting. Mom took longer. At a family session, she pulled out a photo of herself as a girl on Grandpa's shoulders. He taught me to be brave, she whispered. I don't know when I forgot that. The greatest inheritance Grandpa left wasn't money. It was the courage to see clearly and act with integrity.